但係話會啲廢話突發，今日想講講咧，詹爺啊，詹基利啦，好可能已經係過咗身啦。事緣咧就係喺51屆 César 法國嗰個影展度啦，咁就2月26號咧，咁就頒咗個類似係終身成就獎俾阿詹爺，但係上台嗰個詹爺咧係好奇怪嘅，唔係我哋所認識嘅詹基利嚟嘅。咁然後再綜觀翻咧，佢有可能唔同嘅講法，佢都好大膽下嘅。咁有可能咧就係因為佢大膽嘅言論，以至到招致殺身之禍嘅。咁但係綜觀嚟講咧，我睇晒咁多佢嘅個説法咧，其實即係冇一個絕對嘅答案住嘅嚇。咁我哋而家咧，我縮細我自己先。César 咁呢個 Spanish 讀音係咁樣啦。咁咧我哋就睇片啦，簡單啲啦嚇。咁你睇到佢上台嗰個樣咧，即係唔係我哋所認識嘅詹基利。咁你而家縮細咗，你唔係睇得最清楚啦。咁2月26號，咁我哋咧就睇一啲再清楚啲嘅。咁本身都唔諗住講嘅，但係有師兄話，不如講幾句啦。咁啊好啊，都試下講幾句啦。好，咁你睇到咧，其實咧係完全係唔同嘅。上面係不嬲詹基利嗰隻眼嚟嘅。OK。咁呢啲生物特徵係唔會變噶嘛？咁你呢一個咧模仿嘅咧，隻眼係你會見到咁樣嘅形狀啦，模仿嗰個。然後個雙眼皮又唔同啦，鼻梁都唔同嘅。咁你仲有其他嘅對比圖嘅，唔單止一個嘅。所以啲好誇張嘅説法咧，就話俾人 clone 啦。咁其實我覺得唔係 clone 嘅。但係就俾人哋取代咗，換咗又係堅嘅。咁你見佢嗰個鼻咧，都未必係最似嘅。呢一幅唔係最好嘅對比圖。頭先我想撳嗰幅咧，佢話已經下咗架，依幅先係最清楚。但係竟然話下咗架先至耐人尋味啊！幾又似你啊，最清楚嗰幅。唔係，咁依一個 YouTuber 都嘗試去對比下嘅。咁暫用佢嗰個先啦。
Talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
佢把聲有啲似啫嚇。嗱，但係整體上嚟講，呢個人方面一啲，同埋係肥啲嘅。
Mistakes, and I was like a novice. But
呢個就係2月26號嘅時候咧，即係嗰個嘅 César 嘅 award 俾佢之後咧，咁佢接受訪問啦。
I felt a lot of love, and I felt a lot.
佢話因為打 Botox 啦、Laser 啦，但係你解釋唔到點解隻眼唔同咗啊嘛。OK， 耳就都差少少，然後個雙眼皮又唔同啦，鼻梁都唔同㗎。但係呢一幅圖，你完全係另一個人嚟㗎嘛。完全另一個人嚟嘅喎，唔係同一個人嚟嘅。
See that clearly something has changed on his face.
睇下可唔可以喐到啦？冇，都係咁有好多人都講嘅，咁我都係中意係圈出嚟嗰啲會更加好啦咁你係更加睇到係完全係唔係嗰回事，唔係我哋認識嘅詹爺啦。咁兩個人嚟㗎嘛，唔好玩啦，真係唔好玩啦。咁你會睇下佢嘅親屬撲出嚟認佢咪得咯？咁但係而家冇啊嘛。呢個此其一，其二就係咧，亦都有一個嘅SFX 嘅 Alice Stone 呢個人話咧係佢自己咧模仿阿詹爺喎，喺2月26號嗰個時沙典禮裏邊。但係問題就係咧有一啲嘅其他師兄師姐都話咧，你即係放個咁嘅面具喺度啫，唔代表乜嘢。同埋佢而家呢度扮嗰個咧係模仿個積尼高遜啫。都唔係喺度扮詹爺，你純粹放兩幅圖就話俾我聽係你扮嘅。OK， 就算我真係當你扮，點解要你扮呢？係咪啊？冇原因嘅喎。唯一我哋而家即係你話陰謀論，但係其實好可能根本就不在人世嘅時候，所以你要扮佢咯。咁一既然黃咗嘅時候呢，你又走出嚟話係你自己扮咯。但係點解要扮呢？係解釋唔到嘅。雖然以前有啲 post 就話呢係詹爺佢自己呢係用替身嘅唔係用 clone。其實係純粹一個替身啦。佢點解要咁做咧？嗱，呢度有個動機啦。Paparazzi 咧就係嗰啲狗仔隊啊，因為啲狗仔隊好鬼煩啊，咁我哋睇睇呢段片，所以佢就要有個模仿佢嘅替身咧，就引開啲狗仔隊。咁佢話萬事萬靈嘅喎。咁但係呢一個係講翻佢以前用過啲替身係佢批准嘅啫。 可以去御用嘅啫。但係今次呢個唔係啊嘛，冇講去批准，冇講去御用嚇，同埋你係咁高調上台攞獎喎，就唔係純粹喺商場東門走去西門，西門走去東門嗰啲，唔係嗰種喎。你上台攞獎點解係嘛？你睇翻詹爺講乜嘢
Jim's problem with the as he calls them the stockerazzi. This is because they
係啦，佢哋唔係叫 paparazzi， 叫做 stockerazzi。stock 即係跟蹤嚟㗎，貼到你實一實。
they stalk you. He coined that. He came up with that. Yeah. So how do you handle it? What is the solution? Because a lot of folks would be interested in this. What do you do?
I
點做啊
done this
你
a few times now, and it's using a decoy.
I'm sorry.
decoy 係替身啫，佢冇話係 clone 啊，咁但係嗰個留言就話係個 clone，咁唔係 clone，decoy 嘅。咁當然咧有啲你當係陰謀論或者聽古仔先啦，就話咧 Jeffrey Epstein 個性愛島下邊呢個實驗室啊，可以 clone 人嘅嚇，或者仲有啲唔同嘅咩優化人種實驗。OK， 咁就呢個未有得證明住嚇即係我哋只係見到愛潑斯坦島嗰個性愛島上面嘅設施啫，有一個疑似嘅應該係聖殿嘅建築物啦，藍白間條嗰啲啦，有啲好古怪，佢哋嘅房間裏邊有面具啊，有手術凳啊等等啫，但係島下邊嘅嘢我哋唔知嘅喎，佢有冇地下室？一定有啦，但係有冇即係深入地底嘅基地？有人體實驗 clones 咁有啲話咧就係其實一早已經死咗啦，2019年死於咧一個退化性嘅神經病。呢個退化性神經病咧，呢個病咧係嚟自食人嘅咁食人導致退化。咁就有啲 post 都話咧friend 指控佢咧，你食人咧係一定死㗎你咁樣咯。咁但係呢啲都唔係一啲決定性證據啦。咁要你問翻 AI 嘅話咧，佢話呢啲全部都係咧 conspiracy 嚟嘅。但係頭先唔係 conspiracy 就係嗰個上台嘅唔係詹基利本人啊嘛。咁頭先我揾咗好多面部生物特徵俾你睇啦。咁究竟依家究竟發生咩事咧？唔知道。咁我係放喺心裏邊先咯。不過個説法有一個問題就係咧，佢2025年喺個 rock show 嗰度致辭咧，嗰個都仲係佢。咁所以就要話喺2019嗰度死咗咧，咁應該就唔啱嘅呢個時間。因為真係有冇死到係唔知嘅，但係而家見到個替身咧咁明目張膽咁上台咧，我哋而家好明顯嘅結論就係咁真過去咗邊。咁真過咗我仲未走出嚟啊嘛。最搞笑就係網上有留言話我仲喺度，我同我個女一齊，啲人就話喂，呢個 account 1萬個 follower 都冇，呢個點會係真 account 咧？咁我再聽埋落去。
Using a decoy, it sounds so ridiculous, but it works like a
佢話你用呢個替身聽落就好似好無稽咁樣，咁但係 work 喎，每次都
double. It's fantastic.
fantastic。咁我喺度快再聽落去啦，我哋再睇埋其他片。咁其實咧，佢嘅死咧，又真係講咗太多嘢。講真，我自己角度咧，佢2014講嗰段咧，就係最貼近咧，可能係得罪咗愛潑斯坦嗰班人嘅。但係都係2014講啦，即係都隔咗咁耐嘅時候，冇理由依家先要佢死啫。要你估佢唔到？我陣間會逐段講下嘅。其實每一段嘢都爆嘅，但係係咪佢嘅致死原因咧？譬如呢個係咁篤爆咗光明會個符號啦，個三角形啦。咁啊，嬉笑怒罵咁樣，你冇去扶嘅喎，佢好似係笑緊你哋信光明會啊！咁我哋睇下其他影片咧，有冇啲真係口從禍出啦？我點會冇咧佢又講到光明會啊，有講到嗰啲松果體啊。咁但係我覺得即係可能最爆嗰段咧，都係2014年嘅。咁我哋睇翻2014年嘅時候咧，係話一個 great country 咧 should not kidnap children。The
mark of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do.
嗱，講真咧，開頭其實如果聽翻成段嘅時候咧，佢可能會講到好似係 ICE 唔好去留住嗰啲嘅非法兒童咁樣樣。究竟佢講咧，嗰啲達官貴人咧唔好戀童，唔好壓換細路仔捉走細路仔啊，定係講嗰啲即係驅除嘅非法入境者嘅 ICE 咧，即係唔好鎖住細路咧。開頭覺得咦唔係講得咁清楚嘅，咁但係佢嘅死咗嘅時候咧，咦咁啊似係踩到愛潑斯坦嗰班人條尾要多喎。咁當然啦，佢講咗咁多嘢嘅時候咧，佢都可以踩過唔同人嘅尾嘅咁但係時間關係咧就唔播晒啦。Illuminati 啦，咁佢咁樣去取笑啲人信即係光明會咧，但係其實我覺得佢係取笑嘅過程裏邊咧，佢係爆出嚟話俾大家聽係有光明會喎，調翻轉係啊。 我哋睇下。
It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're part of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government.
講話出嚟，你啲所有知名嗰啲嘅 talk show 咧，其實可能同政府有關係㗎，或者係同一啲特別嘅組織有關係，佢捧紅咗你啦，咁咪可以幫佢哋帶風向啊嘛。事實嚟嘅喎，你睇翻好多係出名嘅 YouTuber 咧，即係唔係話個個100萬訂閱，即係背後一定係有特定金主，但係冇特定金主又係難相信㗎嘛。咁同一道理嘅啫，你咁多個 talk show， 你估佢哋真係背後冇人嘅，冇勢力㗎。
Throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on.
係啦，引你笑啊，引你去另一個方向，等你唔知道現實發生乜嘢。咁依家一樣嘅啫嘛，其實就係我哋之前所講嘅 disinformation 同 misinformation 咯。不過佢就用一種即係嗰啲 talk show 用一種嬉笑怒罵嘅方式洗走咗你。譬如之前咁樣 Jimmy Kimmel 佢係明反侵㗎啦，咁但係阿侵就喐翻佢咁樣用法律途徑，係咪先？咁一樣啫嘛，即係去左傾你都冇帶風向咩？你成個荷里活都係嚴重左傾㗎啦。即係洗大家嘅腦咁樣啦，去支持巴勒斯坦啊，嗰啲非法移民咧唔係非法移民，好慘啊，好無辜啊，諸如此類咯。嗰啲 ICE 咧就好唔好嘅，好衰嘅，阿侵咧癲佬嚟嘅。咁你所有嗰啲媒體都係咁樣喎，甚至有時嗰個 AGT 我都唔係咁中意睇咧，就好多時候咧成棚人啊，成個科人都係反侵嘅。我覺得係咪啊？咁但係其實個勢係做出嚟嘅啫。我就睇埋。
You know, they get out there in the woods in a circle, naked, and they decide these things.
我哋講到即係 eyes wide shut 嗰啲啦喎，你秘密嘅一種嘅結社，有一個邪教嘅儀式剝光豬嘅爆出嚟喎。你以為佢笑緊你，你以為嬉笑怒罵，其實喺度爆緊好多嘢。
And you know, look at him trying to. It's hilarious. You know what they're trying to do?
你話你以為好好笑咩？好好笑咩？咁但係如果係事實咁點啊？
They're trying to turn us into, you know, consumer drones or something.
就係要你係咁消費咯，你唔好諗咁多嘢啦，消費，唔好理事實，即係最緊要你肉體嘅享樂，肉身嘅享樂，全部都係講你邊度食好啊、着好啊，就呢個層次夠㗎啦，你唔使再問落去啦。
I just gotta get this. Yeah. Listen, I'm in the middle of.
咁當然啦，唔係佢所有講嘅嘢咧都係絕對啱嘅，不過咧佢把口咧又真係誇張嘅，佢連可能登月係假佢都講埋。咁我之前咧登月片有講過嘅，就唔係登月係假，乃係裏邊都混合咗一啲假片，因為咧佢掩飾咧有 UFO 嘅真相啊嘛，即係岩士唐佢哋上到月球嘅時候，其實見到好多 UFO 啊。
Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
講個官方故事，個官方故事究竟係咩官方故事咧？咁你有興趣去睇翻我之前即係講到月球登月嗰啲嘢啦。咁有好多唔同嘅 YouTuber 都有講過嘅。
Man, and they're buying it.
所有人係受呢套咁當然啦，佢就相信佢冇登月，咁我相信佢有登月，不過當中咧有好多嘢唔講得，即係嗰次第一個成功登月之後嚟到地球上面嗰個新聞發佈會咧，3個好似死老豆咁樣，喂，你唔係成功登月嘅咩？咁呢啲唔講啦。咁佢知道咧就連接到另一條片咧，就講到要岩士唐嗰啲宣誓啦，唔肯啦。sorry， 岩士唐。咁佢死都唔肯啦。咁不過佢有個 point 反駁嘅，我點知呢本聖經係咪真嘅啫？但係講真，就算本聖經係真嘅，佢都可以做假誓噶嘛，你吹佢唔脹噶嘛。咁但係 anyway 啦，因為佢哋係軍人咧，本身太空人就係軍人出身啦。軍令如山嘅時候咧，要去悶要去做啲咩，佢都要繼續做落去嘅。嗰個年代冇辦法。咁講真，你尖機利咁耐都爆咁多嘢啦。 咁都冇死啊！就算頭先我話即係最激烈嘅同愛潑斯坦案啊，最設身處地嘅啦，2014年佢都唔係即刻死，冇理由要等到即係12年之後先要將佢調包嘅啫。所以其實佢個死因咧仍然係撲朔迷離，或者係消失之謎，或者被調包之謎咧，都係撲朔迷離嘅。咁啊睇下呢段又講乜嘢？
I don't think we can afford to.
嗱，呢段爆啊！呢段我完全 buy 佢啊！佢就係講疫苗，唔同嘅疫苗，點解有咁多疫苗啫？揾錢咯，好後生嘅好似。
I don't think we
啊，
can
就 Jim Carrey。
to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interest at heart all the time.
即係話咧，即係官方醫療團體咧，唔係將你嘅福祉放喺首位噶，所以家長咧要攞起個責任啦。
Parents have to make their own decisions.
Why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save the life or prevent it?
即係點解有時醫生亦都唔係將個病人嗰個嘅福祉放喺首位咧？因為你每打一針咧有用嘅，即係錢嚟嘅。
Disease. I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies.
AAP 咧亦做即係美國兒科學會啊。咁你美國兒科學會其實係公司資金噶嘛？咁即係佢個兒科學會話要打呢啲針好，咁其實某程度其實都係官方話好嘅啫喎。係咪真係為兒童好咧？未必嘅喎，就係呢個 point 咯。咁事實上，阿侵侵第二任期嘅時候咧，都僱用咗甘迺迪後人啦，咁都爆出即係其實有唔同嘅疫苗咧，係真係會導致嗰個過度活躍症等等啦，係堅嘅啦，呢啲唔係陰謀論啦。或者其中一種止痛劑會導致自閉症等等，但係網上媒體咧普遍都係唔買帳咁但係我信 RFK 嘅，因為用 common sense 啊，你明顯嗰啲公司有利益衝突㗎嘛，賣花讚花香喎。
Medical schools are financed by the drug companies.
係啊，你嗰啲大藥廠佢有大嚿錢係支持咧呢啲嘅醫療學校啊嘛，大學學府啊嘛，所以其實你好多係利益衝突嚟㗎。嗰時戇居居又坊間話：哎呀食豆苗好啊，咁一窩蜂去食啦。咁但係早在呢個時候咧，詹基利已經話有問題啦。
This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry.
喺賣藥嚟講，疫苗咧最好賣嘅嚇，即係佢個增長係最高嘅。哇！呢啲嘢你得罪幾多人
$13 billion.
？130億係一年。
From medical schools. I mean, these doctors are not learning about prevention or vitamins or diet.
What we're asking is for them to take a loss for the good of our children. That's a tough sell.
佢為咗你哋小朋友而自己有損失，冇可能吧？咁梗係你有損失，我有賺好啦。點會為咗你嘅好處而我有損失咧？就係咁嘅 point 咯。哇！咁依個爆啊！所以喺我角度咧，佢踩到佢話 Great nation should not kidnap children 啦。話呢一度疫苗純粹係賣錢嘅啫，係咪真係有效咧？嗰啲副作用有幾多咧？咁然後嗱，不過依段咧我就唔係去到最 buy 啦，因為佢係講到所有萬物有靈咁究竟係唔係咧？咁我梗一定唔係啦，唔通篤屎有靈咩？唔好話啦。咁但係萬物有靈啦，同埋佢講到松果體嘅一段，但係得意就係咧，明明松果體嗰段片咧，我係琴日睇嘅，我睇完我 friend send 俾我，其實我睇咗啦。咁我都唔知段片真係，同埋講啲嘢都好爆。佢就係話CIA 嗰啲一早咧已經知道松果體咧，你開發咗佢咧就有 super soldier、super humans。咁就因為咁咧，就係打壓呢樣嘢佢話我依家嘅對話咧，純粹係私下流傳，我唔諗住公開嘅。咁但係 anyway 啦，就我唔知道係真係嘅時候咧，我唔知道係唔係 AI 片定點啊。咁我諗佢冇 share， 但係我諗住今日出片嘅時候咧，call 翻出嚟我揾唔到喎，咁就耐人尋味啦，我揾極都揾唔到。佢講松果體嗰樣嘢。即係第3萬開第3萬，咁究竟係咪真係去到咁神咧？開第3萬喺我角度咧，有可能嘅，即係應該咁講？我哋大腦咧，其實我哋用咗可能1% 嘅啫，或者5% 嘅啫，有95% 咧睇翻 news 嘅電影去解釋得好好嘅，係可能封鎖咗。咁喺我個信念啦，即係你當聽古仔啦。喺我信念就係咧，點解上帝會咁樣封鎖咗我哋嗰啲咁多嘅能力咧？冇完全開發咧。你諗下，如果開發晒嘅時候，世界大戰啦！開發晒嘅時候，個個都當自己係神啦，咁點會再相信神咧？個個都好驕傲啦，係咪啊？ 咁免得我哋太驕傲嘅時候，你人類都係謙虛啲啊，所以先係聖經一早記載人類嘅壽命大犯罪之後咧，大災難之後咧，個壽命就縮短晒啦。由亞當嘅900幾歲一縮就縮到弱視強壯可到80歲，好似摩西咁，即係摩西年代到依家都係咁樣噶啦。你好啲咁咪80咯，70、80咁樣樣。咁所以我哋有好多嘢封印咗。咁但係如果你有方法去解封咧，話係用科學嘅方法，話係用一啲嘅係神秘學嘅方法去解封咗佢咧，得唔得咧？我覺得絕對有咁嘅可能㗎。咁但係未必係一件好事嚟嘅。即係如果當大家到時都係 X-Men 嘅時候，哇！打交就唔係打交㗎啦，因為每次打交都會開大片咁樣咁唔掂㗎嘛。咁但係你而家睇翻一段片啦，萬物有靈佢講乜？
Man, we get up in the morning and we open our eyes and the show begins, you know, and it's a thriller for some people. And you can't help but get caught up in it. And it's important a couple of times during the day to stop.
嗱，佢呢度冇乜嘢嘅，即係有啲人你一醒起嚟咧，即係好似子華神話齋，即係好似食屎咁樣，一開眼就係食屎噶啦，好痛苦，好消極。咁佢依家就話：不如你靜落嚟啦，即係唔好咁快又跳落呢個負面漩渦咁樣啦。咁呢度冇乜嘢，我覺得 OK 嘅。
Wait, this is just as real as those thoughts. I am bigger than these thoughts.
係啦，佢就話即係呢啲正面嘅思想即係我自己個本人咧係強過我嘅思想嘅，你自己主導翻個思想。咁如果我個角度咧，你正面嘅態度係啱嘅，但係反而咧 positive thinking 咧，即係 positive attitude 係好嘅，但係 positive thinking 咧，我自己覺得有一次係癲癲地嘅，係咪都係諗到佢好正面咁啊？何必咧？但係正面態度係要嘅。咁但係佢依家又叫大家正面啲啫，咁依度都 OK 嘅，所以我覺得個標題 Everything is God 就未係到住。
I'm bigger than this body. You know, they talk about omnipresence in church, and nobody really thinks about what that means.
無處不在咩意思咧？即係佢話佢差唔多相信人嘅潛能好大啩，所以你唔好咁睇低你自己，唔好咁快唔開心住。
What it means is every cell of your body is God.
呢度就係翻去啦。你每個細胞都是神咧，咁就佢係萬物有靈嗰邊啊。係啦，咁都係嗰句咯，冇理由我粒鼻屎都係，我老粒老泥都係。咁但係佢有佢意思，頭先我都話咯 ，positive attitude 係好嘅。咁甚至有啲位你夾硬要 positive thinking 唔係唔得。咁但係如果你去到依度又覺得太盡啦，咁但係會因為而咁死咧，咁梗係唔係啦。咁我都費事再聽落去，有興趣你自己揾啦，好容易啫嘛。Everything is God。咁所以咧要聽佢有可能嘅死因咧，都七七八八啦，真係七七八八啦。玩埋光明會個三角形啦，依個又係太誇張嘅。佢呢度都好神秘學嘅。即係佢話耶穌33年，咁原來我哋嘅脊椎有33節咁樣咧，即係我會覺得呢啲類比係一個錯誤類比嚟嘅，但係佢就會強化咗個 presentation 啦，好似講到似層層咁。咁然後當然啦，佢又會講到，哇！你嗰種性興奮咧，由大腦都傳送到落去啦，然後應該就係、我諗佢意思係又講射精喎。OK， 佢即係類似係講到好神嘅。咁但係即係我簡單嚟講咧，啲嘢係好爆嘅好爆嘅。咁呢一段片都有保留，你講得爆唔代表要死嘅。呢方面都唔夠踩到話頭先人哋哇120億美金嘅生意額，我相信係1年疫苗嗰度啊，嗰度爆好多。呢段好啲啦，30秒，我哋再聽多次啦。
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. Almost half of America at this moment believes there is a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what?
佢講埋有 deep state 喎呢樣嘢，所以其實真係踩到咧愛潑斯坦嗰邊條尾嗰度多嘅，但係都係嗰句2014講，咁點解要12年後先俾人調包咧？講唔通。
Give them health care?
我諗佢意思係俾到啲非法移民有健康保障，點會咁簡單啊？你放佢哋入嚟就係啲人礦嚟嘛，細路仔啊、器官啊、 性奴人肉市場
What is the sinister plan? We in America
仲有咩邪惡計劃？
are misinformed.
嗱，呢句勁啦，即係美國咧不斷係被錯誤資訊咧所誤導嘅 misinformed 咁一樣都有 disinformed 啦，係特登係大風向帶你走錯位嘅。咁我哋繼續就拭目以待啦。咁其實講真咧，你被調包嘅其實唔單止係佢嘅，咁有人都講過，即係我之前嘅影片都有講過嘅。Maxwell Jeffrey Epstein 嘅好相好啦，未結婚嘅，咁但係同佢一齊咧好耐，係一個合作嘅伙伴，各方面都合作嘅，包括妹妹仔啦。咁有所謂坐緊監嘅2024年嗰個好相好 Maxwell 啦，其實都係被調包嘅咁拜登又係被調包嘅，你咁多人被調包嘅時候，喂，其實佢被調包唔出奇啊，係咪啊？咁當然 Maxwell 被調包咧，就佢唔使坐監，咁我就逍遙法外。咁但係詹基利被調包咧，就似真係講錯嘢啦。咁但係講錯乜嘢咧？我哋到今天都係未知嘅。咁唯有就係拭目以待啦。咁最簡單就係自己真人跳翻出嚟咯，解釋翻俾我哋。係啊，我哋突然話一個社會行為藝術啊，咁突然揾個人扮我上堂攞獎啊，睇下揾唔揾到認唔認到。咁除非佢咁樣走出嚟認嘅啫。如果唔係咧，我哋可以大膽假設佢應該係瓜咗啦。如果你歡迎上個分享咧，請 like、share 同 subscribe。多謝各位，拜拜。